atrocities going on and human rights violations taking place in IOK. As you are very well aware that there has been a curfew for the last 100 years, 100 days, over 100 days. There have been 110 plus deaths. Over 700-800 people have been blinded with pellet guns, and more than 12,000 people are injured. So for the last over 100 days, there are no schools, no hospitals. Life has come to standstill. This is something which the Prime Minister of Pakistan has taken upon himself, that we have to extend all the support, moral, political and diplomatic, to our Kashmiri brothers in their difficult hour. But the fact of the matter is that, you see, while we have been doing our job, but the Prime Minister decided to send the special envoy. So we have here this Honorable Senator General Abdul Qayyum and Honorable Kashmir Sheikh Saab, Member of National Assembly of Pakistan. So lady and gentlemen, without further ado, I would now hand over to the special envoys who are here to first speak to you very briefly, and they will be very happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. First of all, I am grateful to the High Commissioner for arranging this briefing and interaction, and I am so grateful to you that you've been so kind to spare time and you are with us. Initially, I'll just give you a very brief rundown, and then of course we'll be open to questions. And when you ask me a question in English, I'll answer in English, but if you ask me in Urdu, I'll be too glad to answer you in Urdu also. So I have few points. I'll just make them begin. You know the background of the issue. We don't have to waste time on that as to what is the Kashmir issue and what are UN resolutions and so on. But what I would like to say is that status quo in Indian occupied Kashmir is now no more tenable. And we have to do something for it. Number two is that this tension with India affects Pakistani counter-terrorism operations, thus threatening regional and global peace, that we all know. And especially I was interacting with our officials from the British government, and I was telling them that we are grateful that Great Britain is of immense help to us in curbing terrorism. All types of help we are getting from them. But then we will have to divert our attention and pull out our troops who are along the western border, which is 2,600 kilometer long border. We can't afford to keep them there. We'll have to keep them to the eastern border too, if there is a threat like cold start doctrine or warmongering in India. Obviously we have to take care. Then at certain occasions, the Prime Minister of India mentioned about Balochistan, that there are problems and Pakistan needs to look into that. You know that Balochistan is partly with us and partly Balochistan is with Iran. And there are integral parts, and it cannot be equated with the disputed area of Kashmir. So therefore, we will suggest that India needs to concentrate on Maoist, Khalistan, Assam, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tamil movements, and give minority their rights. I think that's in their domain. In our domain is that we should do our best to sort out our issues, which are so many within Pakistan too. And we have to fight against them and improve the situation. In addition, I would like to say that selective application of Universal Declaration of Human Rights I would say that it is immoral. That our reaction to human rights violations, if it is different in different parts of the world, I don't think so that is justice. Then third, I would say that atrocities in Kashmir disturb peace in nuclearized South Asia, which that may lead to catastrophic consequences, we all know. We know that there are 3-4 major flashpoints on the globe. One is Eurasia, second is South China Sea, third is Middle East. But this fourth flashpoint, which is in South Asia and in form of Kashmir or situation in Afghanistan, it is more explosive because it is between the two nuclear powers. And here we need peace, and we can't afford to have a conflict in this zone. Then I would also say that selective implementation of United Nations resolutions and violation of its charter are also responsible for existing turmoil in the world. Because our UN resolutions, at places we have implemented them with force, and here in the context of Kashmir, we have totally forgotten about it for the last now about 70 years. The turning a blind eye to Indian atrocities in Kashmir is to risk greater danger in South Asia. And I would also say that ruthless use of state force against unarmed Kashmiris fighting for liberty needs to be condemned by the entire civilized world. Indian fencing of the line of control is, in fact, in a disputed territory, is a violation of United Nations ground rules. They say when they posted United Nations Military Observer Group in India and Pakistan to look after that, they said that as far as defense is concerned, status quo will be maintained. You can't disturb that. But when we decided at the time of General Pervez Musharraf about ceasefire, so utilizing that time, India has raised a fence. It is double fencing, 11 to 13 feet high, with electrified, with mines in between. And in addition to that, then there are flashlights, cameras, and so on. Almost the entire line of control. No, that again, but after that, then the Indians should not claim that there is infiltration from Pakistan side, because that is all very fully guarded. Now, the other thing that I would like to say is that while dishonoring United Nations resolutions, Indian desire to become permanent member of United Nations Security Council is paradoxical. Because on one hand, you want to become the permanent member of an institution whose resolutions you just put them into the dustbin. So that is not on. And I would feel that if somebody deserves to go to United Nations Security Council as a member, it should be a Muslim state, because we are about 1.5 billion people and we have no representation there. So Pakistan qualifies for that thing. Kashmir should not be neglected because it has no oil wealth, and its oppressors offer lucrative market for Western arms. Unfortunately, today the geopolitics is conducted mainly, of course, by the strategic and economic interest, which has been done in the past too. But this should not be done at the cost of human right violations, and I think that's being done. And as far as Kashmir is concerned, it is an international dispute, and on that we have all the nations have the commitment, especially Indian Prime Minister Nehru gave it in writing. Pakistan is committed, Kashmiris are to be involved, and the world community which is there, they have to be there. Similarly, I would say that Mao Zedong and George Washington, they led the liberation struggle of their countries, and they survived, and then later on became the leaders. But Burhanuddin Wani, of 21 years age, he did that struggle at the peril of his life. His fault was that he was asking for rights of self-determination, and he was butchered by the Indian firing and so on. Then is Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Middle East are in the eye of the storm, as we all know, for the last over 30 years, because ever since Soviets came to Afghanistan, there has been, we were at war, we were part of the battle zone. You know, Pakistan had to play a very pivotal role, and the entire West and United States of America were supporting that operation. In fact, about $5.2 billion were collected. 2.1 billion were given by the United States, 2.2 billion, I think, from Saudi Arabia and so on. And these people were then trained and launched, and Soviets were pushed back. But then, as the last Soviet soldier crossed the border and went back to his country, we were subjected to Pressler Amendment immediately. And this is not what I'm saying, this is what Hillary Clinton had said, and it is on record, that she said that we left them high and dry, and in fact we subjected them to sanctions. And thereafter then these people were on their own, like Osama bin Laden and Haqqani group, which is basically a group from Afghanistan. And now it is being asked that we should quickly settle them and do something. Pakistan is doing its best, but we must not forget the historic record. Then we are now, in fact, witnessing a de facto plebiscite in Kashmir. This again was said in the Hindu, dated 18th September 2016 by Rajmohan, in Rajmohan article. But this time, whatever has happened in Kashmir, the silver lining is that the objections and protests came even from within India, when they saw that the pellet guns are fired and people are butchered, unarmed civilian, and that brings a bad name to India, which is the largest democracy in the world. And therefore, I salute those media people and the civil society and the political leaders like Mani Shankar, the ex-minister, and even from people from Congress who objected to this type of policy, because that creates tension. So the way forward is that United Nations Human Rights Council should help stop human rights violations in Srinagar. In Kashmir, India, Pakistan should resume talks on Kashmir and try to solve the issue within a given time frame. Maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever package we decide, we should decide. India, Pakistan, then the international community, we expect, would help as per UN Security Council Resolution 1172, dated 6th June 1998. Now this resolution came up when we had the nuclear explosions, first by the Indians in May, and then early 98, and then by Pakistanis in response. So as a result, then the international community reacted, and they said that they really condemned that these violations, these explosions shouldn't have been there. But then in the same resolution, they said that Kashmir warrants an attention, and India, Pakistan should sit. And the important thing was that they said that we are available and we can come and help. And I think that needs to be now implemented. Another thing that I would like to say is that the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, may take a lead from the Nixonian diplomacy that was done in early 70, when President Nixon, through Pakistan, sent Henry Kissinger to China, and Pakistan played a role, and China and United States of America came very close to each other despite all differences. I think India has to, sort of leadership has to come up and see what Nelson Mandela did in South Africa. After all, he was in jail for 27 years. And he came out, and then apartheid was broken, and the situation improved, and today South Africa is part of the BRICS, and they're doing very well in that aspect. So we need a leadership of stature. We don't need radical leadership. And unfortunately, ever since Prime Minister Modi has taken over, there is a hype created both in the media and in addition to that in the public. Unfortunately, in India, in all elections, the slogan is Pakistan bashing. And based on that, everything. Now again, the elections are coming up in UP and few other states. And some analysts were saying that one reason for this escalation and bringing in Pakistan is because of that. And in Pakistan, we have elections, we have by-elections. Never, I don't think so, anybody took up this, that you have to sort of the hatred against Indians. In fact, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mian Nawaz Sharif, the moment he took over, and thereafter in 2014, when Narendra Modi was to take oath, the Prime Minister of Pakistan flew to New Delhi and participated in that ceremony. He was really bitterly criticized within the country, but he never bothered. He said, no, our fundamental principles of our foreign policy are those which were given to us by Quaiser Ahmed Sheikh MNA. And that were they are the same which we are now following. And they are that we have friendship with our countries, including our neighbors. And that we will have no aggressive designs against any country. And number three, Quaiser Ahmed Sheikh MNA had said in February 1948 that we, in our international interaction and national issues, honesty and fair play will take the central position. And fourthly, that Pakistan will be in the forefront in peacekeeping in the entire world, wherever our troops are required. And you know, and the entire world knows, that at one time we were the largest contributor of troops for the peacekeeping mission. Even today, I think if we are not the largest, at least second largest. That we need to do, and we would continue to do. And the last point of our foreign policy, which Quaiser Ahmed Sheikh MNA gave, and which we followed today, that we will stand with all oppressed and suppressed nations, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, whether Christians, Hindus, or any Sikhs. We would fight for the right of self-determination because it is part of the United Nations Charter, and we are all signatory, and that is what we need to do. And now in this time, Mian Nawaz Sharif, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, has very clearly said, and this is the policy of Pakistan, that our soil will not be used and will not be allowed to be used for any terrorist activities by any non-state actors in any country which is in the vicinity, they are neighbors or anywhere else. But at the same time, we would like that the other country's soil should not be used for proxy wars in Pakistan. Unfortunately, we have arrested Kulbhushan Yadav, one of the serving naval commander who was involved in spying operation in Balochistan, and he is under custody. And even the American Secretary of Defense, ex-Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel, is on record to have said when he was addressing some students in America in 2011, he said that India is financing trouble in Pakistan. And the world knows it. We know that our children were butchered, our jurists were killed, our markets were attacked, and you know that even our bases were attacked through the help of the external forces and intelligence agencies, and Pakistan became the worst sufferer. But we have fought back resiliently by the grace of Allah. The entire nation, our armed forces, our intelligence agencies, our political leadership of all parties, collectively we had that national action plan, and based on that we have controlled the situation by the grace of God, and we are going to defeat the terrorists, and we will not allow them to sort of operate from there. Then I would like to say that when we were talking of looking forward, then India should, we expect that they will grant protest rights to the Kashmiris, and don't take it so seriously that you start firing at them and killing them. This is under the Constitution of India, even that they have the right to protest, and that is an international right. Second is that they should treat the wounded people and allow them to fly abroad to other countries if their eyes they have lost and they need immediate. They must release the prisoners, and they must compensate those families whose the family heads have been killed. There are half widows in Kashmir. You know that there are ladies who have lost their husband. They don't know whether they are alive or they are dead. And for the last 5, 7, 8 years, so the family, the ladies, the women folk can't remarry, and the family is destroyed. So that is, we need to resume talks with India and be focused on the dispute, so that when we resolve this, we can then move forward. We would also expect that India should withdraw the draconian laws. You know, there are about a dozen laws which allow, which in fact legalize human rights violations in Azad Kashmir. All of you know, and you can read them, go on the internet, you will get the complete. It is shoot to kill, it is arrest without warrant, and it is search a house without permission. They are treated like animals. And even wounded women and men and children lying on ground, and you can see the security forces with sticks in their hand and creating problems for them. United States of America played a positive role in Kosovo, East Timor, Sudan, along with the other world community. And we would expect that the same role should be played in case of Kashmir, because they are more deserving, and this is the oldest outstanding issue on the record of the United Nations. And it is an unresolved dispute and unfinished agenda of partition of 1947, which was done by the British. So when I was interacting with my British colleagues here in the Parliament, I said, you are also part of the problem, because you left it, and we need your help now, because we are member of the Commonwealth, and you have your not only strategic interest, your economic interest in the subcontinent. We have a diaspora very big from India and Pakistan who are working here. When there is a tension between India and Pakistan, they get disturbed, their families get disturbed. So therefore, saying this, that India-Pakistan should sit together and solve, does not solve the issue, because for the last 45 years, ever since we signed Simla agreement, we are trying our best. We have not been able to sit together to even discuss, not to speak of solving the issues. Similarly, I would like to say that India talks of, we were glad when Indian Prime Minister said, let us fight, but fight to eliminate poverty. This was very good. But just 2-3 days thereafter, he cancelled the participation in SAARC, which is primarily for economic prosperity and all that. And because of that, you have to shelve SAARC meeting, because only if one member does not attend, you can't hold the SAARC meeting. So we would again say that they should, we would like to fight the poverty, because 20% of world humanity lives in South Asia, India and Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and about 60% of them are below the poverty line. Our people are, there is unemployment, there are so many other problems. We need to work for that, and for that Pakistan is ready to cooperate with all countries. We are ready to offer India the routes for Central Asian republics as a transit route. But the point is, we have to first solve those problems, issues which create irritants, and because of which we come at the brink of a war, which would be disastrous for both the countries. Then these are points that I have highlighted. I think after that, when the questions come, we will respond to them. I'll request my colleague here, Kashmir Ahmed Sheikh Saab is member of the National Assembly We are together. We have been moving together as envoys of the Prime Minister on Kashmir, and basically we have jointly put these points together, but he would like to say a few things before we invite your questions.
Honorable General Qayyum Sahab, Honorable High Commissioner Ibne Abbas Sahab, Honorable Lady and Honorable Gentlemen from the press. Really, it's a great opportunity, and you have come in a lot of numbers here, and we have got this opportunity to explain our point of view, because we are a team together, 2 members appointed and nominated by the Honorable Prime Minister as his special envoy for UK. For other countries, there are other envoys. So since last 3 days, we have been discussing, and General Sahab gave the details. We have been discussing with all party groups of Kashmir, all party parliamentarian group of Pakistan, and then we went to the Foreign Office to discuss with the special representative of Afghanistan and Pakistan. I feel this, the background in detail given by General Sahab. This India and Pakistan, at present we have a population of about 1.4 billion people. That is about 20% of the world population. And the problem is that if we don't resolve this matter, this Kashmir problem is since 68 years in the United Nations, and the resolution, the plebiscite are there. But my point, because he has a background of army, military, and I have a background of business. I am elected as a member of the National Assembly from the Chiniot area, which is very known for the entrepreneurial area. So I also am presently chairman of the Finance Committee of the National Assembly. So both of us have different backgrounds, and we are a team. So my point of view is that both of our countries are losing hugely, because when we see that in ASEAN countries, which are our neighboring countries in Southeast Asia, they have a trade between themselves more than 55-60% between themselves. But we have a trade of about 10 to 15% among our countries. The huge population of 20% of the world, we are trading. Both India and Pakistan are trading from far east or far west, long distance, the countries which are at the long distance. Everywhere in the world, now the regional trade is more advantageous. If we have so my point is, if we don't resolve this Kashmir issue, then both of our countries are suffering. The suffering is such that at present about 450 million people live in India and Pakistan who are below poverty line. This is out of total 1 billion people. 1,000 million people are totally in the world poor people. Out of that, about 400 to 450 million people live in Pakistan and India. So about 40 to 45% of the total world poor people live here. It is because we are fighting each other. And I don't understand that the Kashmir matter is now indigenous, this struggle is going on there. So we have come here basically to highlight the human miseries, the human rights violations. That's our point. But what my thinking is that if both of these countries are fighting and having differences on this Kashmir matter, then both of our countries are suffering, and our trade is suffering, our growth is suffering. We can have a huge growth. Moreover, the terrorism, because when the terrorism, you see, if we should have a united fight against terrorism. Terrorism is coming from the western, Pakistan's west border. We can both be together on terrorism, and only then this terrorism can be confronted. Only Pakistan is, we are suffering, and we are facing ourselves. We are being suffered by the terrorism ourselves, our country, and there had been huge losses of human lives, and then again about estimated 100 billion US dollars in economic terms. So if there, whenever there's a discussion about bilateral talk, because in Shimla in 1971, there was agreed that the Kashmir will be resolved bilaterally. So whenever there is Pakistan asked to have a bilateral talk, then from the Indian side they say that this is the main item is the terrorism to talk and not Kashmir. So I don't understand. Everybody knows that Kashmir is the core issue. Without resolving, without settlement of Kashmir, there cannot be any good settlement between our two countries, great countries. Now, my point is that even yesterday we were talking in the discussing in the Foreign Office of UK. So we were advised to sit together, have a mutual discussion. So what should we do? We talked to our group in Parliament. Our Prime Minister last week again offered that we are ready to talk and we are ready to negotiate and discuss and to have settlement and to have amicable resolution of Kashmir. But how to talk? Now, since last 44, 45 years, mutually we could not succeed. So that matter, as my colleague mentioned, that matter is that of since independence. So it is not resolved mutually. So how can we resolve mutually? We are asking the permanent representative in UN, permanent members, to come forward, to help us, to advise us, to let us know what to do. We are ready all out to go to find some miseries should be reduced and to be alleviated. We want that. Our intention is the human rights. But since 101 days or 102 days, the curfew is there. People could not go to their workplace. Our students in Kashmir could not go to their schools and colleges. So my point is that we are suffering. Both of our countries, the people are suffering. Our trade is being suffered. Not only Pakistan, India. India will also get benefit if they come forward to have a reasonable resolution as per the wishes, as per the liking of Kashmiri's people, the rights of the Kashmiri people. We don't want that only Pakistan and India, of course, have to discuss between themselves, but it is not a matter of Pakistan and India only, it is a matter of people, 12 million people of Kashmir. So my point is that all these sufferings, and we could not up to now resolve this matter between us. Had we been able, then we could have settled down, we could have discussed. The main point of difference of opinion is that whenever we approach to the members, permanent members of UN, they advise us to sit together. I tell you as a politician, I go to the public and get votes from the public. I tell you that in these circumstances, when the human rights are being violated, Pakistan cannot initiate. If we initiate, our politicians initiate in this time because the public is not liking our point of view. Whenever even our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, took initiative and went to the ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but our public did not like it because if we go, Pakistan has never been, as mentioned by my colleague, has never been a contesting election. We in Pakistan, it has never been that we contested elections against Indian bashing. But whenever there are elections, this is everybody knows, they only talk in their elections against Pakistan bashing. I don't why they, even now they say that they made the surgical strikes. So the main intentions, even the Indians themselves mention that the main intention is to win the election. Of course, we have nothing to do with their politics. Our thinking is we want mutual agreement, we want in the mutual advantage. And in these circumstances, if only we have been talking and discussing that sit together, even our public will not like those politicians and will defeat the candidates in the elections. And main thing is the two nuclear states of the world. So my colleague mentioned there are 4 flashpoints. I feel that this is number 1 flashpoint in the world. 2 nuclear states having the differences since 68 years. Still, we from the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister has assured, and we from our government side, we are here to get advice, to request to the permanent representative, particularly UK government. And we are very glad to mention here that yesterday in the group, that was a all-party parliamentarian group meeting of Pakistan, and that all-party parliamentarian group of Kashmir was also there. So they mutually, and we were also there. So it was agreed on there that a resolution will be recommended to the parliament that a fact-finding mission should go in both countries. They are most welcome in Pakistan, but India is not allowing even the neutral media people to visit Kashmir. So it is, I think, if it is approved in the parliament, it's a good, very good, successful thinking, and I feel this is one of the way how to resolve this issue. So I conclude this with thanking you that you all came and took interest, and this is a human suffering, miseries of the people, and this is unprecedented that since more than 100 days, there's a curfew and people cannot go to their workplace and to their institution. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Very comprehensive briefing. I think there is very little left for question, but we will take up the question. The next meeting is ready.
I have a question for the general.
Yes, yes, that's up.
Respected general.
Excuse me, Amanullah Sahab, one by one, please.
मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे ये, आपने बहुत अच्छा 2 दिन से मैं भी आपकी वो कर रहा हूँ, कवरेज कर रहा हूँ उसमें, तो बहुत अच्छे आपने प्रेजेंट किया वहाँ पे जो एमपीज़ को, वहाँ पे कुछ शेडो मिनिस्टर भी थे, वज़ीर भी आए, और रहमान चिश्ती इटसेल्फ बहुत एक तो मेरा ये कल आपसे डेविड नेटल एमपी ने एक सवाल किया था वहाँ पे कि जब आप मुलाकात की बात करते हैं, तीसरा भी साथ रहता है, तो कुछ दे और कुछ ले भी करना पड़ता है, उसमें आपको कुछ पीछे आना पड़ता है और दूसरे को भी जाना पड़ता है। तो इंडिया के बारे में तो मैं नहीं कह सकता कि वो कितना पीछे रहेगा, तो आप किस हद तक ये भी हो सकता है कि आपको कहेंगे थोड़ा सा स्टेप पीछे करें, तो आप पाकिस्तान किस हद तक पीछे जा सकते हैं?
देखिए, ये आपने बात बिल्कुल ठीक की है कि जब आप किसी चीज़ का सलूशन ढूंढते हैं तो उसके ऊपर दोनों पार्टीज़ को एक फ्लेक्सिबल एटीट्यूड रखना पड़ता है, सारी पार्टीज़ को। लेकिन अभी तो हमारा स्टैंड तो वही है जो यूनाइटेड नेशन के रेजोल्यूशंस हैं और यूनाइटेड नेशन का वो स्टैंड है। बट बाकी जो बात के इसके क्या ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं, ये उस वक्त होंगी जब हम टेबल पे बैठ के बात करेंगे और एक दूसरे की व्यू पॉइंट को सुनेंगे, और तीसरा जो मीडिएशन का ग्रुप है वो उसके अंदर आएगा। तो बैठ के सिचुएशन आप देखें कि मैं बात कर रहा था, आई वाज स्पीकिंग टू द फॉर्मर कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर who dealt with the Ireland issue, and he told me कि in fact he was of the view कि जो हमारे फॉर्मल टॉक्स हैं उससे आयरलैंड का कुछ नहीं निकल रहा था। हमने पर्सनल एक एंगल के ऊपर कुछ एफर्ट्स की कुछ लोगों के साथ, एंड फाइनली हम उसमें सक्सीड हुए। तो देखें, डायलॉग से पहले कोई चीज़ किसी किस्म की नहीं कही जा सकती। अपनी अपनी पोजीशन के साथ मेज़ पे बैठें और फिर आपस में बात करें, और ये देखा जाए कि इन दी लॉन्ग रन ऐसा सोल्यूशन जो सिर्फ पाकिस्तान को पसंद नहीं हो, इंडिया भी उस पर एग्री करे, पाकिस्तान भी करे, कश्मीरी भी एग्री करें, तो वो सोल्यूशन वुड बी एक्सेप्टेबल टू एवरीबॉडी।
Thank you. Christine?
I had raised my hand earlier.
Just a second, just a second.
You talked about all the things that the Indians are doing, and you also said that no attacks, no terrorist attacks or attacks by non-state actors are being launched from Pakistan. Who do you think was behind the attack on the Uri base? And why does Pakistan allow Hafiz Syed, the head of Lashkar-e-Toiba, which was behind the Mumbai massacre, to walk freely and indeed attend receptions at army bases and other things?
Thank you, Christina. I've been working for 2 years with the United Nations Military Observer Group in India and Pakistan as a liaison officer. So I know every inch of the Kashmir land, and I know Uri, and I know Poonch and all those areas. Uri is a fortress, and around it are trenches, then are the barbed wire, and there is no question, and then are the mines that anybody could enter there. The point is, how come that 4 people have come and they have killed 18 people in a fortress? They are in defense. Whenever I am a military man, if there are casualties, more casualties are of the attacker and less of the defender when you are there. And this happened because there were atrocities in Kashmir. There was a huge sort of protest from within India and outside India about what was happening when you fired the pellet guns into the eyes of those people and they were killed. Now, to deflect that attention, this thing was staged. And within 4 to 6 hours, the blame was placed on Pakistan without any inquiry, anything. We were asking that ask a independent fact-finding mission, or, for example, United Nations Military Observer Group has a field station at Poonch, which is very close to Uri, Baramulla, Rajouri, Jammu, Srinagar. And on Pakistan side, we have the field stations of United Nations at Sialkot, at Pember, Kotli, Rawalakot, Domel, and Skardu. So they are handy. You take them, give them some sort of evidence, and then say. But they were in a hurry to do that because the Prime Minister of Pakistan had to address the United Nations General Assembly, and they thought that it would be better to divert attention from those human rights violations, and that was done. So therefore, there is no question, Krishna, that somebody went from Pakistan crossing those double fencing and went and did that and created. So we told them that it is not Pakistan, neither the Pakistani soil was used on that account. The second aspect of your question is on Hafiz Syed. Hafiz Syed is there in Pakistan, and if there is any allegation against him, if there is any evidence or any proof, when you're saying that he's involved, we have no proof of his involvement. Pakistan is a democratic country where there are independent courts, and you can charge them and they will only arrest a person if there is some evidence. On partial evidence of Bombay, we have arrested 6 people and they are in the jail for the last 6 years now. But so far India has not been able to provide us a workable evidence so that the case is continuing with them. But I can assure you that when somebody uses our soil and creates a problem in any country in our neighborhood, actually he is doing greater harm to Pakistan than any good. And we take them as enemies. So therefore, I don't think so this is possible. Yes, Pakistan was subjected to intrusion attacks. Yes, people came from the western border, and that necessarily not by the Afghan government. They are our friends, and we are Muslim countries, neighbors, and we have a long history. We don't blame them. But it is again Indian intrusion through the western border, because they have their consulates, about 12 of them. They were used as spy nests, and we got hold of one of the spies who have confessed his crime. So therefore, it is India who is doing proxy wars. See who is the worst sufferer. India has lost 18 soldiers in their crime horse. We have lost 60,000 people. And we are telling them that we have suffered, and our children were butchered, as I said, our jurists were slaughtered, and all sort of things, and we are the worst sufferer in that area. So therefore, there is no question that Pakistani soil will be allowed to be used. And if somebody does it, we will cooperate with India, and we will expect India should cooperate with us. We should share the intelligence and take these people to task.
Question on
Yeah, please.
Inspector General, You are quite learned, and particularly you know the area and the geopolitics. Nobody has to tell you. My question is, if you go back into history, when Powers, he was doing espionage in the U2 in the days of the Cold War, when he was shot down, I remember, he was paraded, and Nikita Khrushchev put a red mark on Bishar. Now, this Mr. I won't call him a gentleman, the person, the prying eye, Bhushan, has been arrested. And I hear that since the days of Ashoka the Great and down to the present times, such a big stature espionage agent was never arrested. Do you intend, in the fitness of things and in the thick of war, the way Indian psychological warfare is going on, I'm a close watcher, would you like to parade him before the public opinion so that they know that the offensive is coming from the Indian side? And secondly, Excellency, have you invited at least the parliamentarians of this great country, at least to have a peek, you know, coming to Azad Kashmir and look what is happening in the occupied Kashmir?
Thank you.
The other day, just my last line.
Okay.
The other day,
Go ahead, yeah.
an MP went to Kailash and she just saw some child in trouble and she was weeping. You know, more than 1,000 people being blinded. You kindly invite the parliamentarians to your side of the Kashmir, which is Azad Kashmir, so that they can have a peek what Indians are doing. Okay. And do you intend to keep this psychological warfare, I won't call you a visitor, but the psychological warfare should be not an ad hoc phenomenon, but a permanent one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I am so grateful. You asked very important points. Now, first thing is... Okay, very good. Okay, yes. That I can make out. Yes, very good. Now, first is the Indian spy, Kulbhushan Yadav. You see, parading. We brought him, you see, we have to abide by the international rules and laws, and we have to see that within that. Number two, we did bring him onto the television screen, and he gave his interview, and he is cooperating. He has already given certain linkages, and these are int operations, and prematurely they cannot be divulged. So that on that account. Second, you said that we should invite the parliamentarians. Very right. We had interacted with them, and in fact, this suggestion was coming from them also, that our delegations, we will invite that the United Nations should permit a fact-finding mission should come there, and our invitation to them is open, that they can come visit not only Indian after their permission, but on Pakistani side also, see the plight of people, visit the Afghan refugee camps, visit our western border. We'll take you to Waziristan, where the situation has improved. We'll take you to Balochistan, where the situation, and to the line of control. Why not? Now the entire journalists were taken. When India, when
Modi is applying for
yes,
for the Nobel Prize.
Nobel Prize. I'll say when they said we have conducted a surgical strike, we took our journalist and to along the line of control, and we said you go around and check up. So that will be done. Yes, please.
Sir, may we take 3 questions at a time, sir?
Yeah, 3 questions at a time. Fine. Okay, thank you.
जी
जनरल साहब, आप गुज़श्ता 3 दिनों से यहाँ पे हैं, ओके, ये आपके फंक्शन आपने अटेंड भी किए हैं, आपने पार्लियामेंटेरियन से मुलाकात की, बरतानिया काम से और ब्रिटिश मिलिट्री काम से भी मुलाकात की है। आपने अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू तो दे दिया, मगर अभी तक हमें ये नहीं पता चला कि आपके इस टूर का आउटकम क्या हुआ है। क्या आप उन पे अपना पाकिस्तान का नुक्ता नज़र बताने में कामयाब हुए हैं, और क्या उन्होंने कुछ यादहानी की है मसला कश्मीर में जो एट्रोसिटीज हो रही हैं उनको सॉल्व करने?
ओके, और क्वेश्चन
मेरा जैसा क्वेश्चन है, डोंट यू थिंक दैट द वेस्टर्न मीडिया एंड द यूएस मीडिया प्लेइंग द रोल ऑफ एन ऑस्ट्रिच? They can see each and everything. It's on TV, it's on YouTube. Wherever we have asked about Kashmir, they just go after Hafiz Syed. They put the question of Hafiz Syed. And they are not looking at the state terrorism of India. All of the world is looking at that.
Right.
Sir, Avans.
ब्रिटिश अथॉरिटीज़ जो हैं ये शायद बहुत ज़्यादा इस सारे मामले को बेहतर समझती भी हैं, इन्हीं का अनकम्प्लीट एजेंडा है कश्मीर का। और आप क्या समझते हैं कि इस वक्त जो आपका ये हालिया दौरा है, ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने सारे इन्वाइज डिफरेंट मुल्कों में भेजी, ये कितना डिफरेंट है? क्या आप कितना कुछ ज़्यादा इस चीज़ को रियलाइज़ करा सकते हैं कि वाकई ही कश्मीर के अंदर इस वक्त सिचुएशन वर्स्ट है और आगे आ जाए सब करने?
गुड, आपका क्वेश्चन और पहला क्वेश्चन ये सिमिलर है। देखिए नहीं, आपका क्वेश्चन भी फिर मैं ले लेता हूँ। द पॉइंट इज दैट वी हैव हैड वेरी गुड मीटिंग्स with our colleagues here, brother parliamentarians. I met Field Marshal Lord Guthrie. He was kind, invited me for breakfast meeting, and I gave him full details and a small presentation on my iPad, and he could see everything. And he knows about India, Pakistan. He's an ex-chief of defense of the British Army. And he is also coming to Pakistan in January because they are inaugurating one school we are inaugurating in Karachi, and he will go and attend that. Jafar Saab has been here, our High Commissioner, and in fact on his personal invitation he'll be there. I also went and met the Naval and Military Club which pertains to defense and security. And we interacted with the parliamentarians, with lords and all important people. I tell you, the response was very encouraging. They were very receptive what we were saying. And when we met the government official, they also listened to us very carefully. And they also gave an alternative viewpoint of course, India's viewpoint. We listened to that and we gave our explanation. And I think it will make an impact. This doesn't happen that across the table they would say and change the policy overnight. I think these governments are assessing, and with the passage of time, when they say that the United Nations says that there should be fact-finding mission, this means that there is a, and then many countries have appealed to them that stop this violation, and Kashmir is an important issue, and this must work. Then media. Again, this is very unfortunate that the Western media, again on Kashmiris, they have not been very kind. I would say, because you see, if there is a small violation in any part of the world, it is highlighted on BBC and CNN. But when you see these pictures of blinded people and children and wounded, full of blood, I tell you, any human being will have his eyes full of tears, but there is no impact. I don't know why. We talk high moral values, and we talk of justice, and we talk of human rights, but when it comes to your own strategic interests and economic interests, then we leave them behind. I think strategic economic interests are important, but they should not be at the cost of human miseries. And I would agree with you that media has a very important role. They should be above board. They must go do fact-finding and report very, very sincerely and very honestly, so that the public understands. My impression is that in the West and America, when I come, the government policies are different, but the public is mainly unaware because the media does not project. These leading newspapers will never give you a picture, but there is a small incident in, let's say, Sindh province of Pakistan, in the far-flung area, there is some women which has been mistreated. It becomes time and again, BBC, CNN, it is coming and coming and coming. But what happened in Srinagar, I tell you, I am a student of history, and I am a soldier, and I see in the recent history, such blatant violations of human rights are absolutely unprecedented, and therefore I think somebody should take a stop. Yeah.
Last round we have guests in waiting. Next.
Question मैं इकट्ठे कर लूँगा।
जनरल साहब, आपकी यहाँ पे बरतानी में मेरा पार्लियामेंट से मुलाकात ही रही, ہمیں یہ پتہ چلے کہ برطانوی پرائم منسٹر بھی چند دنوں تک انڈیا جا رہی ہیں، ان کے دورے کے اوپر جا رہی ہیں. کیا اپنی یہاں کی پارٹی سے اس بارے میں بات ہوئی کہ جی پرائم منسٹر اپنے دورے میں مسئلہ کشمیر اور کشمیر پہ ہونے والے ظلم کے بارے میں بات کریں، اور یہ پرائم منسٹر سطح پر بھی پاکستان کے پرائم منسٹر کی سطح پر بھی کوئی ایسی کوئی بات چیت ہو رہی ہے کہ جی برطانوی پرائم منسٹر کی بات کی جائے؟
ٹھیک ہے.
کاظمی صاحب.
سر سوال سے خاتون کی اندازہ ہو گیا تھا کہ انڈیا کا جو میڈیا ہے اور انڈیا کی جو گورنمنٹ ہے وہ عالمی سطح پہ ہمیں بدنام کرنے میں کوئی کسر نہیں چھوڑی، جبکہ کلبھوشن یادو کا جہاں تک معاملہ تھا اس کو ہم نے ہائی لائٹ تو کیا، لیکن وہ ہائی لائٹ کرنے کا جو حق ہے وہ ادا نہیں کر سکے. اگر وہ ہوتا تو آج یہ خاتون بری کے ساتھ کلبھوشن یادو کا نام بھی لیتی یہاں پہ کہ اس کی جو انڈیا کی ایکٹیویٹیز ہیں ہمارے پاکستان کے اندر، بلوچستان میں، فاٹا میں، جتنی گڑبڑ انڈیا پھیلا ہے اس کو ہم نے ابھی تک دنیا کے سامنے آپ آئے ہیں، ماشاء اللہ اللہ کرے کامیابی و کامرانی ہو. کیا یہ معاملہ ہو سکتا ہے ایسا کہ اب ہم یہ چیزیں ہائی لائٹ کریں پہلے سے بہتر؟ کیونکہ یونائٹڈ نیشن میں بھی جب پرائم منسٹر نے تقریر کی تو اس میں بھی کلبھوشن یادو تو کوئی ذکر نہیں تھا.
اوکے جی نیکسٹ. جی جی
بہت خوش ہوئی کہ آپ تاریخ کے اسٹوڈنٹ ہیں. میرا سوال یہی تاریخ کے بارے سے کہ برٹش گورنمنٹ نے جو مجرمانہ رول ادا کیا ہمارے برصغیر کی تقسیم میں، وہ سارے پورے خطے کے لیے آج بھی لوگ ہے، تو اس کا سد باب کیا آپ نے ان کو کانٹریبیوٹ میں کیوں
جی دیکھیں
تقسیم کو انہوں نے ایک ڈیزائن کیا تھا پرومسڈ لینڈ اسرائیل ٹو کریٹ، اور ہمارا انڈیا پورا اس میں پائے کو تباہ کر.
جی لاسٹ.
پاکستانی قوم بھی اور کشمیر کی عوام بھی ساری اس وقت جو ہے وہ پروٹیسٹ اور اس حوالے سے ظلم اور حریت ہو رہی ہے. کہاں پہ ہرڈلز آ رہی ہیں؟ انڈیا سنجیدہ نہیں ہے ہم سے گفتگو کرنے میں، کشمیریوں کے جو ظلم کر رہا ہے اس کے اوپر تو بات کرنے کو تیار نہیں. کہاں پہ ہمیں دشواری ہے؟ کائنڈلی ہمیں اس چیز پہ.
اوکے جی 3-4 پوائنٹس ہیں. پہلی بات تو پرائم منسٹر کے ذکر سے آپ نے بتایا کہ وہ وزٹ پہ جا رہی ہیں، تو یو مسٹ ہیو نوٹڈ کہ اگلے دن ہاؤس آف کامنز میں ون آف دی کوشچن جو 8th کوشچن تھا وہ یہی تھا کہ فارن آفس سے کہ آپ ادھر جا رہے ہیں تو کیا پرائم منسٹر جا کے ان سے یہ بھی پوچھے گی کہ یہ آپ کیا کر رہے ہیں. آبویسلی یہ کوشچن پوچھنے کے حد تک ٹھیک ہے، انہوں نے کہا نہیں ساری چیزیں ڈسکس ہوں گی. تو وی ہوپ کہ برٹن وچ از اے کنٹری وی ہیو دی ہائیسٹ پریز فار. میں نے اگلے بھی اس دن کہا دیٹ برٹش از اے کنٹری which has given us in Pakistan best military traditions, best railway system, best irrigation system, best telegraph system and so on. And we have the best of relations, even understanding and so on. We would expect, and then this problem has been brought out, that this Kashmir issue was created by them. If they had solved, it would have been solved then. But at least even later on, if they know the exact situation and they could have done it, but we hope کہ وہ اس طرح ہوگا. Kalbhushan, yes, you are right کہ when internationally we are questioned کہ Syed, Hafiz Syed کیا ہے, تو people should name first this Kalbhushan Yadev, who is a uniformed man caught red-handed, and they are کہ why was he sent? Against Hafiz Syed and other people, you don't have evidence. And if there was evidence, they will be taken to task. And they will face the court. But I think we have to be fair to see. But in the United Nations, when the Prime Minister addressed, he didn't have to name a spy, because that is not the level. He did say that there is a proxy war in Pakistan which is sponsored from outside. And it is understood that who was the sponsor of such things in Pakistan. Then is the last thing is the Indian attitude. Why are they not coming? The reason is that, and it is historic reason, that right from first day when Pakistan was created, Indian leadership did not accept this creation of Pakistan. They were against it. They said, for 1,000 years you ruled us, and now for 1,000 years we need to rule you. But that was created because of Allama Iqbal and Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah and those people, millions of people who gave sacrifice, and these countries were created. And thank God Pakistan was created. Otherwise our situation would have been as miserable as those of minorities in India, including Muslims and Dalits and Christians and everybody. So that is. Number two reason is that India wanted that a country, let it come up, it will be dissolved. It will not be able to survive. Or if it survives, it should not be beyond, its status should be that of Bhutan, Nepal, or and all that, where they should not be potent enough to challenge, and we will have the hegemony. Alhamdulillah, in the last 70 years, we have not done as well as we should in many accounts, but we are a nation full of will to exist, motivated. We are a missile power and a nuclear power, but that is exclusively for our defense. Had India not done nuclear explosion, Pakistan would have never reacted and this race would have not started. Today again, we want to cut down our armies, cut down our defense expenditure. We want to live in peace with India, and we can move. But India has to reconcile. India has to accept the existence of a neighborly Pakistan, because it's a geographic compulsion. We cannot be separated. We have to live together. And as I said, Pakistan is a strategically very pivotal state, and through Pakistan, the gas pipelines, the oil pipelines, TAPI, then this Turkmenistan, Pakistan, India line, the CPAC thing from China, Pakistan Economic Corridor, everyone can use. Iran has desired that they want to use. We would like India to also use CPAC. We would like all those, Russia can use that CPAC and use the warm waters. We have to exist together. And I think in this 21st century, we should not do warmongering, which the Indians are doing. My friend would like to also say a few words, and then we will conclude.
I think in detail, many things have been referred, and your questions have been also replied. And I think it's a very clear thing. Pakistan doesn't want any hostility to any country. We want to live in peace, and we want to have economic development. People in the whole subcontinent are enterprising, and I don't think that our leaders should also convey to them that actual position is the economic development. At present, I mentioned to you already that we are having a huge number of poor people, and if we continue to have conflict between each other, this is the one point. We don't want that everything according to Pakistan should be accepted. When you question that if there is a conflict and some give and take should be there, my friend rightly replied, okay, first come to table, and all these things can be discussed. Why not? You see, when there is a dispute, if we say, no, I will not, like India, they say first talk to terrorism. So since 44 years, this matter is, according to Shimla agreement, this matter is to be mutually decided. So if one party doesn't want to sit, I don't know what is the way. I at least don't know what is the way to decide mutually. Okay, when they come table, Pakistan already offered. Even last week, Pakistan Prime Minister mentioned that we want an amicable and serious discussion of Kashmir. So it means that we are not stubborn on one point. Okay, we come to table, and that's why we are asking, because up to now our two countries could not resolve. It is in the benefit of the 20% people of the world, but up to now we could not resolve. We want to resolve. We want to have economic development. We want to have give education to our people, and we want to spend our resources on the development and economic development and prosperity of the people. So I cannot understand that why, even I being a businessman, I have gone many times to India for business. I know the people in India, they also want to resolve this matter. All the people of the majority of the people of Pakistan, they don't want to conflict with Pakistan. Similarly, the people of Pakistan don't want to conflict. I don't know why Indian, particularly Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, I don't know what the intentions are, why Pakistan bashing. If they come to terms, things can be settled. And if we cannot settle, okay, we request the permanent members to facilitate. Okay, come on, come to our help. We are here to get their advice, to get their ideas. Okay, maybe I am wrong. So come to table, and otherwise we can ask the permanent members and the important members, particularly UK, because they know the whole political situation here, and they have been having in this area, ruling this area. So my point is that we are here to request to the nation like UK, who are very sympathetic about human rights. So we are here to request you to let us know if we cannot find any solution. Up to now we could not find. Maybe somebody's fault, their fault or our fault, we don't want to point out here. We want to resolve the matter of sufferings of the people. So please let us know. And in the parliament we discussed, we found the members of the parliament sympathetic, and even the questions were asked in the parliament. And I hope, I'm sure, that when the British Prime Minister goes there in India, definitely this matter, because this cannot be now delayed. Since 101 days, there has been a curfew. And public, huge number of people, the citizens of Kashmir, they are demanding their azadi there. They have slogans. Okay, whatever. I feel that there is some, even then the solution is to find an amicable resolution. So as a politician, I can say that we cannot go all out in this scenario. We cannot go all out, and we cannot even hint for that what can be the concession, because we also have to face our people also. We ourselves and our people both have to be, and the people of Kashmir actually, they are the people. They should be accepting whatever they accept. We have no objection. If they Kashmiri people for their fate they accept, we have no objection on it.
Okay, now we request the Honorable High Commissioner to conclude, sir, and thank them.
I'll do it in Urdu this time. मैं आपका शुक्रगुजार हूँ. आपने जिस तरह खसूसी नुमाइंदों से जो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं पाकिस्तान के, उनसे उनकी बातचीत सुनी. ये जो इनका दौरा है जी, ये 3 दिन पे मुहित था, जहाँ पे 3 पार्लियामेंट्री इंटरेक्शंस भी हुए. एमनेस्टी इंटरनेशनल से भी मुलाकात हुई. उसके बाद इन्होंने यहाँ की जो सरकारी ज़राए उनके साथ बड़ा फोर्सफुली ये अपना केस पेश किया. क्योंकि आपके इल्म में हमने कुछ दिन पहले एक डोसिए दिया था. जब जो खसूसी नुमाइंदों ने उनसे बात की तो उन्होंने कहा कि पहली दफ़ा है कि हमारे पास प्रूफ आ गए हैं और हम इनको बड़ी गौर से देख रहे हैं और इनके ऊपर ज़रूर हम टेकअप करेंगे, क्योंकि ह्यूमन राइट्स यहाँ पे इस मुल्क में को बहुत ही अवलियत दी जाती है. एक तो ये मैं समझता हूँ जी, उसका जो आप पूछ रहे थे कि इसका क्या आउटकम है इनके विज़िट का. दूसरा जो उससे भी इम्पोर्टेंट मैं समझता हूँ ये है कि इनके आने के बाद ये एक फ़ैसला हुआ है कि बरतानिया के क्रॉस पार्टी पार्लियामेंट्री डेलीगेशन जाएगा पाकिस्तान भी, और हिंदुस्तान के लिए भी वो दरख्वास्त ज़रूर देंगे, ताकि वो जाकर अपनी आंखों से जो कुछ वायलेशन ह्यूमन राइट्स की और जो कुछ यहाँ पे एट्रॉसिटीज़ हो सकती हैं उनको देख सके और उनको कलम बंद कर सके. तो ये तो है जी, एक ऑन गोइंग प्रोसेस जो था उसकी ये कंटिन्यूएशन थी, लेकिन आने से ट्रिगर हुआ है. एक हमारे जो एफर्ट चल रहे हैं उनको एक तक़वियत मिली है खसूसी नुमाइंदों के, वज़ीर आज़म के जो खसूसी नुमाइंदे यहाँ तशरीफ़ लाएँ. तो मैं आप सबका भी शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ और इनका भी शुक्रिया कि इन्होंने, ये बहुत पैक्ड प्रोग्राम था इनका, उसके बावजूद आपसे मीडिया के साथ इन्होंने इंटरेक्शन किया, क्योंकि ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. इंशाअल्लाह. थैंक यू वेरी मच. बहुत शुक्रिया. सेनेटर